Showtime.
It's about that time.
Let's go.
You're right where you need to be. This is GCOM Radio.
Hardest radio station on the planet. Yeah.
Powered by Lyfeblood.com.
We certified.
And hosted by Nova Phoenix.
Give them that flavor.
Yo, what is the deal? We are here. What is going on, y'all? This is Nova Phoenix, your host on GCOM Radio on iHeartRadio. This is the 88th episode. Man, the 88th time that I've come around another week. And it's a countdown, y'all. It's a countdown to the 100th show. And I said I was going to do something. I don't know what I'm going to do for the 100th show because of COVID, but I'm sure I could come up with something. Of course, it's gonna probably be virtual, but how was your week? Mine was grand. I can't complain. A lot of things was happening, a lot of things wasn't that didn't go my way, but it's all good because you gotta keep a good heart and a good mind and a good outlook on life, regardless when things don't go your way or how things don't go your way. Yeah, so I got a lot of things to talk about. And what are these things? As far as what's been going on, first of all, I'm moving, man. So this show is going to be a little hard to do and really to post up, but I'm going to try my damnedest because I want you guys to hear what I got to say. And I know you expect it every week on a Wednesday, but yeah, I'm moving. Where am I moving? I'm not telling y'all that. I'm not going to divulge that piece of information to y'all so y'all know where I'm at. You could figure it out. You could probably search around. You know how y'all Twitter sleuths be doing. You could probably figure it out, but I'm not going to make it easy for you. I'm going to try to get it to you guys on Wednesday. Let me see what I can do. Anyway, I'm sure I will. Don't worry about it. It's right now as you're listening to it. It is Wednesday day and you're listening to the show in your car. All right. So what is going on? So the headline news, what's going on is Trump has COVID. This dude, Trump, has COVID. Yeah. Last week, this dude, I think it was Thursday or Friday, he got admitted to the hospital. And that's when the news broke that he had COVID-19. Now, oh my God. Isn't that fitting? Yeah, I'm playing petty. I'm not really a petty dude, but this time I'm gonna be petty 1000. Yo, that is crazy. Is that not karmic energy, man? He was talking all that mess, talking about don't worry. He was downplaying the COVID-19 while all those American lives are being lost. He was shaking hands, walking around with no mask. All his people were walking around with no mask, encouraging his base to walk around with no mask when he was doing his thing for his campaign, for the presidential campaign. And look at this. This dude gets COVID-19, and I was unsure because I was like, is he playing this game? Because you know how he's the master of distraction, and he tries to get people off of stories that he doesn't want them to keep on talking about and listening to and watching the news sources. Say, oh my God, especially what he said about white supremacy and not really knocking it down. He was just fully accepting it and patting the Proud Boys on the back saying, stand down and stand by. Yeah, I heard that. Fuck shit. Yes, I did hear that. So to him to come out with that COVID-19, that's crazy. Now, the funny thing is, they broke that case, they broke that story talking about that he came down with COVID on Friday, if I'm correct. But then after a while, a couple hours later, after news sources reporters started doing their investigation, he tested positive on Wednesday. Interesting. So already he was talking about how he was ready by Saturday, he was ready to come out. And people were told he got admitted to Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. And some people were reporting on his condition. And one doctor that's on Twitter, Lena Wen, and she was talking about, wait a second, I'm having problems with this timeline. Because if he came down with COVID last Wednesday at the time, They said he would have a heavy viral load by Thursday, which would mean fever and requiring oxygen and taking those experimental drug. I think it's called remdesivir. Oh man, that's a tongue twister. And you know, and I listened to how you pronounce that word and I've done that. Forgot, whatever. Remdesivir. I wrote it down, remdesivir. So let's go with that. So by Friday. And let's say the average time to get symptoms would be the 10th, 12th day. And already this dude wants to come out. And matter of fact, he did come out. He did come out. And he's taking all these drugs. And what does this fool say? This fool says some craziness talking about, COVID-19 is really not that serious. And people, it's blown way out of proportion. Whatever he said on Twitter. I don't care word for word. So I'm like, yo, I knew it. And people were saying he was going to come with this. So lo and behold, as I watch and read my Twitter timeline, what do I see but President Trump, I guess on the balcony of the White House, trying to take this photo op, and you see the flashing. Lo and behold, what do you see? Him struggling to breathe. Now, I know President Trump. I watch him. I watch him in talks, interviews. I see body language. I know body language. And when Trump knows he's doing something wrong, he has this a tick or response to pull back his mouth and like, oh geez, what am I doing? Look. So he pulls down his mouth and like, oh my God, what am I doing? And you see it every time when he knows he's been caught out there in the public. He knows he's caught out there, but he has to kind of like go through with the motions. And he always pulled down his mouth and back like, oh my God. And that's what he was doing on the balcony. And I also noticed, and I had to see it in a second video, he was struggling to breathe. When you watch it, by the fourth or fifth time of watching that video, you see him just heaving, struggling to breathe. That motherfucker got COVID. And the sad part about it, and this is the more serious part, this guy has full-fledged COVID and he's taking all these experimental drugs and he's not out of the woods with this. He is walking around the White House exposing everybody, exposing his staff, exposing the White House staff, the chefs, the people that mop the floors. He's exposing everybody he's within 6 feet. The hell with the mask. This dude should be quarantined. Yo, this is a crime. I swear to God, a crime is being committed right in front of our eyes. This dude is committing attempted murder on everyone that's within his vicinity. All for a photo op. All to make it seem like he's strong. All to make it seem like COVID is not such a big deal. Say that to 200,000 plus lives that was lost for the past 3 or 4 months. It's not a big deal. Man, I tell you, man, his soul is, oh man, this guy's gonna get pulled into hell when he crosses over. I tell you, if there is such thing as a hell in heaven, this guy is going straight south. And he's gonna burn in the everlasting sulfur fires of the devil's home. I tell you, man. Whew. We're going to see what happens in the next couple weeks. If this dude falls out, man, I'm just going to be there like, I didn't even care. I even shared on my social media. I just said, oh, man, what's my brother name, the comedian name? I can't remember the comedian name. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I just shared a picture saying just a dead face, like for me, like a straight face. Like I didn't care if I said, I don't care if he has it. I don't care if he doesn't. All I know is what he said about white supremacy and him supporting it by patting the Proud Boys on the back, and he was putting the lives at risk of every black person and every POC in this country. I could give two shits how he feels right now. I'm gonna keep it 100. I don't care. They won't play all nicety nice. I'm like, I hope he recovers. Yo, he threatened my life, and I'm supposed to care that he got the COVID? Man, whatever with that. Keep it pushing. The next thing on this, so the Breonna Taylor thing, everybody knows what's going on with Breonna Taylor. Okay, everybody knows what's going on with Breonna Taylor. The case is unraveling right in front of our eyes. You probably heard it on Black Media already. That's on YouTube, them breaking it down. And this case was rotting from the very start, especially since the whole thing unfolded with AG Daniel Cameron was talking about his press conference saying it was wanton. What's that phrase? Wanton endangerment? Whatever, bro. So the reason for the no-knock warrant was bogus. And I'm not going to go into detail about it because you probably heard it enough times already from all the articles you read, all the other podcasts that you've heard. But the no-knock warrant, whatever, right? No mysterious packages. There's no reason for this warrant to ever exist, right? Even the postmaster in the area denied any packages. The bullet that hit the cop as they broke in, they're saying they cannot confirm or deny that the bullet came from Mr. Walker's gun. That was Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, right? So that's and you know when they say they could confirm nor deny, that really means that's not the bullet that came from Mr. Walker's gun. All right. The grand jury came forward after the AG, after that bogus ass, corny ass press conference, saying they want to come forward and release the tapes. They weren't given an option of manslaughter or murder. All right. And it was like wanton endangerment. So they demand, the jury, one of the grand jurors demands that the recordings be released. I'm not so sure if the recordings have been released, but what I have heard as of late, AG Daniel Cameron was delaying the releasing of the tapes because, of course, he wants to redact certain information. Of course, he's trying to cover his ground. Let me tell you, Officer Jonathan Mattingly, Brett Hankinson, and Miles Cosgrove. All of them corrupt. All of them corrupt from head to toe. The whole case is fucked. Understand me? All of them. The AG, the judge, the mayor, the council members, you know who you got to vote for if you want justice. Okay? And I forgot, on top of that, they was trying to frame the ex-boyfriend, Jamarcus Glover, saying that Breonna Taylor was somehow involved with some kind of drug ring to sully her name. So they were going to extra lengths to try to make themselves look good. So it's important that you know, in order for us to have justice, you got to get involved with local politics. Not just voting for a president, but get involved with your local politics. And I swear, I will try to you. And I know we're coming down to the last few weeks. One of the things that it's key for us to understand who we're voting for is to know who we're voting for ahead of time and knowing their history. Not what they say, not their platforms, but what they voted for in the time that they were in office. I would try to get those names. Because one thing that I hated when I was voting for a specific person, and then all of a sudden they had I'm like, I didn't know they were on the bill. I had no idea. Because this is not really heavily, I'm talking about New York now. It's not heavily talked about who's running for what or whatever. It just pops up. You got the ballot. I'm like, what? Who's this? I'm not gonna front. I'm gonna be 100% with y'all. When I look at this ballot, I'm like, I don't know who this is, and now, of course, I can't leave it blank, right? So that's even my my shortcomings as a citizen of New York, not just a citizen of the United States, but also a New Yorker. I should know who I should be voting for, even if they don't tell me. And that's the point. They're not going to tell you because they want to keep you as distracted and as they want to keep as much information away from you from who's actually on the ballot as possible. As much information, they want to keep this from you. All right. So, and I vote. So this time I'm going to try to do something a little different and get to know who these people are that I'm voting for, and take them to task when they get in my face, or when I get in their face, or whenever that time happens. So, so this whole thing is screwed up. The whole thing is screwed up. So now what I'm hoping for, as you know, the Attorney General, Daniel Cameron, as you all know, as I said before, coons do not have a retirement plan when it comes to cozying up next to white supremacy. And I think, and I predict, when it does go south and people start to get closer to the truth, I think that they're going to try to dump it on Daniel Cameron. They're going to try to dump it on him. And I think I believe, I'm 80% sure this guy is at risk of being disbarred. He's not going to be able to practice any law. He never had a chance to run. They say one of the things why he was pushing so much to do this wanton endangerment thing that at the time the Supreme Court justice seat was open, and he was probably trying to, make nice and try to get up there, but he wasn't even selected. But, even if that was still open, that's not going to happen, right? He's definitely going to get a divorce from his wife, his new wife, right? You know why? Because she's going to say, oh my God. She going to play stupid. She knows what's up, right? So she going to play like, oh my God, Daniel, I can't believe it. I can't believe you're so corrupt. You did that to that poor girl. I just can't marry. I can't. I'm telling you, she going to run away. She going to run away, and she going to use this reason to not marry this dude, to divorce this dude. So this guy is going to lose his license. His career is shot to all hell. He's going to lose his wife. He's going to lose his wife. And he can't even come back to the black community. Even if he tried, he can't come back. His time is done. And what did I say? What did I say on the show before? Being a coon it's a lonely road to walk. Because when it comes down to it, you're going to be all by yourself. All those people that patted him on the back, good job, Daniel, going to walk away from his ass. And then when he's going to look at his community that he came from, the black community, saying, oh my God, I was tricked. They going to turn their back on him too. So he going to be one lowly fuck. Yeah, that's too bad. So we'll see what happens with this case as it continues to go on. And I'll look into that myself. So what's the next thing? The Baby and Lil Baby is doing a socially distant drive-in festival called the Detour. It's going to happen on October 11th. So is this a new idea for concerts, socially distancing? I'm wondering. The drive, will that make money? I think it'll be a great experience to be a part of a concert in a car, right? So you kind of isolated from people. You don't have to, be rubbing up against anybody. I'm not even talking about COVID. I'm just talking about, but maybe people like that, the social creatures. But will they be able to make money? I wonder what they're going to charge for tickets, because of course that's less space, less people in these spaces if you're using cars. So I don't know, man. I saw one concert picture on social media. I think it was in the UK, the first festival, and they had people on these metal stands, on these metal platforms. And of course they had barricades, and it only fits probably like 4 people tops, and there was space in between. I don't know how it went. I have no idea. But we'll see how this turns out. The next thing is Yara Shahidi. She is the new Tinkerbell in Peter Pan and Wendy movie. Shout out to Yara. Big ups, congratulations. I think that's kind of dope just to flip that, man, to see other people, especially melanated folks, in these roles. Because I've been seeing Peter Pan for so long, since I was a kid. You just want to see something different. And I think Yara is a great actress to play the part of Tinkerbell. What's next? Walker. What am I talking about? What's next? Walking Dead. Yes, Walking Dead is back for season 11, and it's gonna go on for 2 years. And I finally saw it. I'm not gonna tell you what happened. Hopefully you guys saw it. I liked it and I didn't like it. I liked it because it was pretty much the finishing of the season. Because remember, when COVID hit, they couldn't finish editing the last show, so they finally dropped it. I saw it on Apple TV, and it was cool. I liked it. I liked the episode, but I wish it was a little bit more. I was expecting a little bit more drama. Let's put it like that. Because a lot of people deserved some licks, yo. Especially the zombies. The zombies was getting licks as always. But I wanted a little bit more drama. I can't wait for Rick to come back and Michonne to come back. Michonne took off. We don't know where she went. And also, check this out. They're gonna have as I said before, season 11 is gonna go on for 2 years. They're drawing this one out. And on top of that, they're going to have spinoffs. They're going to have a Daryl spinoff, and they're going to have a Carol spinoff. So it's not like we're saying goodbye finally, to the Walking Dead series. It's like, oh my God, tears and everything. We're not going to see Walking Dead anymore. No, it's going to carry on in other characters, their own shows, man. So I like Daryl, man. I wish they did a little bit more with Daryl. I think his character hasn't been fully fleshed out. The only thing that they did do was having Merle and a little bit backstory of his family. But, he's still kind of a mystery to me, Daryl. You know what I mean? I wish they kind of like build him out. Maybe they'll do it in this spinoff. All right, and the last thing they got going on is Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry, he launched the new studio in October 2019. And he had a couple of shows that dropped around the same time. It was The Oval and Sisters, to go along with the launch of his Tyler Perry Studios. And I'm going to be real, I haven't seen him. I don't know how it's doing, but my thing is, let's try to support Tyler Perry and his studio and his deal he's got going. He built out a sprawling studio that he actually used to continue shooting his shows for TV, and it's totally contained, so everybody gets tested and they get on the studio grounds, and they actually have a place to stay. So let's try to support the Oval and Sisters. I think it's on BET Plus, and because the man's doing big things, so it's important for us to support what he does. All right, so let's go into the first songs of this show. What we got going on? So we have Jax the Band, a Haitian American group, with their song Anose off their project The Glow Up. Now, it's just a short piece. I loved it so much, I wanted to play it on the show. They have so much more music on their project. You got to listen to it, but I just wanted to play a little teaser called Anose. And right after Jax the Band, we're going to get into They. They's an R&B group. They collaborated with Skrillex and Timbaland and toured with Bryson Tiller on his Trap Soul tour, and also toured with Slack from East Atlanta with Love tour. And they have a song called Play Fight, and it's featuring Tinashe. Everybody knows Tinashe. She had her single 2 On, and they're doing this song with her called Play Fight, and it's a dope joint, so you gotta hear. So also check out, they have an upcoming project that's coming out, the Amanda Tape, coming October 23rd. They. So let's just hear this small snippet of Jax the Band with their song Anose off their project The Glow Up. Go check that out, and let's listen to They featuring Tinashe with Play Fight. We'll be right back. All right.
In the world, GCOM Radio on iHeartRadio.
Screaming off my head like every other night. You do that shit on purpose, baby, I know why. I get on your nerves, where you been on mine. If you got no respect, I'll put that in check. We know how this ends. I stay driving you crazy. You stay running your mouth. You stay getting me started. You loving and shut it down. Keep on driving me crazy. Keep on running your mouth. Keep on getting me started. Can't wait to shut it down. When we play fight, get the grabbing all up on me, you don't play nice. Next thing you know, grabbing on your waistline. We don't turn and I'll be eating to a late night. When we play fight, I'ma eat it like I don't know what it tastes like. Round 4, next round, let you take 5. Fuck around, keep going to the daylight. Yeah. Play fight, yeah. Play fight, yeah. Play fight, yeah. Play fight, play fight.
You really trying me lately. Talking out your neck to me, are you crazy? I can be aggressive, say the word, oh yeah. I'll teach you a lesson, give you what you deserve. Oh yeah, you love it when I'm mean, oh yeah. All night long, yeah, I'll be screaming, yeah. Baby, don't play with me, I'm not the one. I stay driving you crazy. You stay running your mouth. You stay getting me started. Love and I shut it down. Keep on driving me crazy. Keep on running your mouth. Keep on getting me started. Can't wait to shut it down.
When we play fight, get the grabbing all up on me, you don't play nice. Next thing you know, grabbing on your waistline. We don't turn and I'll be eating to a late night. When we play fight, I'ma eat it like I don't know what it tastes like. Round 4, next round, let you take 5. Fuck around, keep going to the daylight. Yeah. Play fight, yeah. Play fight, yeah. Play fight, yeah. Play fight, play fight, play fight, yeah. Play fight, yeah. Play fight, yeah. Play fight, play fight.
This is GCOM Radio, powered by Lyfeblood.com. Come join, be a lifer. Practice dollar power and build financial independence.
All right, you just heard Jax the band with that little snippet of Anose with their project The Glow Up. And right after Jax, that was They featuring Tinashe with that song Play Fight. So I'm looking forward to checking out the Amanda tape with They coming out October 23rd. All right, so before we continue this show and we keep this moving, you know we have to get into business of the week. What we got going? All right.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Bringing you the business of the week and its innovative founders is what you've been waiting for.
3 guys, all from different parts of the Bronx, the Boogie Down. These 3 that created Ghetto Gastro was not supposed to be here. The Bronx was a wild jungle coming out of the 60s and 70s. Racial riots, economic implosion, housing despair, drug-covered areas. The Bronx was burnt down. You can see pictures of kids jumping on old mattresses in empty, garbage-strewn lots. It was a place that was supposed to be forgotten. And it was. However, the people that lived there slowly came out of this deep hole as people in politics started to pay attention and the people on the ground began to bring their minds together to improve the neighborhood. The spirit of the Bronx began to rise. It was at this time period 3 men took their journeys in the cooking business and at some point came together to form CruxGG.com. From Les Walker winning at the food show Chopped and Pierre Sorrell training at a culinary school in Milano, Italy, they all pulled together to make history. They've made many accomplishments, but now the venture is designing essential kitchen appliances to enhance their counter space experience. The Trainer, TRNR, a waffle maker, the Neffy, a toaster oven, the Bread, a bread maker, the Drip, a programmable coffee maker, and more. Lyfeblood.com would like to salute Ghetto Gastro for enhancing our kitchens, fixing flavorful meals with a hood feel, and building their community, the Bronx. These are the kings of our time. Hand them their flowers. Okay, that was business of the week. Hopefully you liked that business. I sure did. So what we have going on for this segment. So this particular segment, it's talking about supporting black business and how sometimes that can be a little bit more labor intensive. A little bit more labor intensive when dealing with people and supporting, or black people in particular, in supporting black business. Why do I say that? I've had a lot of conversations with people over the years, and sometimes I feel that from listening to the opinions, they could be just very like splitting. We can split hairs, man. We can see a sliver of an opening, and we'll work ourselves into it just to criticize the business. Some criticisms are legit, but others is like, come on, let's not make excuses. Let's just support this particular business. And sometimes, for instance, it could be like a wait on food. It could take extra long. We don't know what is the case. Or it could be, we feel that it's overpriced. Oh, I can get it for $5 less over here. I'm like, come on, man. There could be reasons why they have it priced $5 more, $10 more. Like, you have to take everything into consideration. Look, for businesses now, I feel, especially with black business, I'm just a little bit more lenient because of the fact that we could be so harsh. But also, I want my folks to win, man. I want them to win in the industry that they're working in, whether it's restaurant, whether it's providing a service or a product, whatever. I want them to win. And a lot of times their product is really dope, and I want them to be household names, not just in the black community, but just America in general. And, I'll pay a little extra, or I'll deal with a little longer wait than I have to. And I'll tell them, hey, man, if they ask me, I'll say, hey, this is what was my concern. But what I won't do is I won't go through that whole service or using that product and then to go to somebody else and say, man, this is why I don't like it, and totally shit on them with the next person, and that person or that business can lose a potential sale. Or I'll straight up call them. If I don't like the product and it's mailed to me and I don't like it, I will straight up call them. I'm like, look, I want to support black business, but this is my particular problem. And not be nasty with it, but just giving my 1 or 2 cents to say, hey, man, maybe you could do it like this. This is what I didn't really like about it, because we want our folks to win. And this whole conversation is based on a back and forth that I had with one of the brothers that I'm connected to on social media. His name is Bonz Malone. He's a journalist, a hip hop journalist, has been in the game for years. You can recognize him. You can go check out the movie Lyfe with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence. He was one of the grave diggers that he was talking with Heavy D at the end, burying the old men in the movie Lyfe. And yeah, man, he's written for a lot of different publications. I'm sure he wrote for Vibe magazine, so that's one of them. So he had an issue with Master P. He wasn't really crazy about the cereal that he had. And Master P has a cereal called Hootie Hoos. And I looked it up, and I'm like, and Hootie Hoos, he had the picture on his profile, right? And Hootie Hoos is kind of like a Fruity Loops. He calls it Hootie Hoos, Uncle P's Hootie Hoos. I'm like, okay, cool. And what Bonz didn't like about it was the fact that it looks like he's peddling crack to his own community, because it's sugar cereal, and we all know how sugar cereal is not healthy for our children. And we had this back and forth, and he was like, nah, I'm not with it. And I was more like, nah, support it, even if you don't eat it. But if you have a real problem with it, a man of your stature and your position in the business, everybody knows your name. Reach out to Master P. Ask him like, hey, man, what's up with these Hootie Hoos? I see you on your hustle game, but how about giving or setting up a healthier choice for our children? So he felt like it's unnecessary to do that, and he's just giving his opinion, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. But I never want to do that, man, because I want to see Master P win. And I'm never gonna down the brother's name if there's something that I really don't like, really appreciate. And if I have a problem, I'll reach out to him on like Twitter or IG, or I don't know. If I knew someone he knew, I would say, hey man, it'd be dope because you're not gonna stop Master P, man. He's gonna do what he's gonna do. He gonna sell these hootie hoos. He gonna get them out in the streets and you know where he from around the country. What you can do is say, hey man, I know you're doing your thing, but how about 6 months from now, 3 months from now, we have a healthier choice. Like, you know, you have McDonald's. McDonald's owned a piece of Chipotle. They don't own it anymore, but they owned a piece of Chipotle restaurant chain because they know that the masses wanted a healthier choice on what to eat, and they were straying away from McDonald's. So of course, it's good business to invest in good food. And the same thing with Coca-Cola. You're not a Coca-Cola drinker? That's fine. Coca-Cola owns a lot of other drinks, or co-owns or whatever. They have a stake in a lot of other drinks, whether it's fruit juices, water. I'm not a big Dasani drink. I don't like Dasani. It's just some hard ass water. But yeah, they have alternatives if you're not a soda drinker. So they're not stupid. They diversify what they have in their portfolio. And Master P could do the same thing. You know, he kind of puts them out there, hootie hoos, if he gets a good response or not. He can switch up and put up, I don't know, granola brand, whatever you want to call it. But I think the point is we have to make sure that we can support our people without kind of tearing them down. Another situation scenario I was actually in, and it kind of related. I mentioned that even in our talk back and forth, me and Bonz. I mentioned the chips, the hip hop chips with Migos on it and all the other rappers on it. Yo, I bought the chips. I was in the store. I was like, oh snap, that's kind of hot, because I'm like, yo, we got some hip hop chips. You know what I mean? With different faces on it. Matter of fact, it had Master P on it, different flavors. I was like, yo, let me try them. Now, before I wasn't a big chip eater, all right? Because I was pescatarian, I was on my health kick. I was like that for years, like over a decade. And then now I eat meat, and every now and then I'll take some chips. I'm front, I eat chips. I fell off the wagon, y'all. I fell off the wagon. So, I'll be buying Doritos and eat them every now and then. But yeah, my thing was I walked in the store with this dude I knew at the time, and I was like, yo, shit, let me buy these chips. Let me see what it's like. And I bought the chips, and it tasted pretty damn good. I was like, oh snap. And a matter of fact, I don't even think Master P owned it. I think it's another brother down south that owns these chips. I forgot the name of these chips. Let me see if I can find the name of these chips. They got Migos on it. They got mad people on it. But I tasted the chips. Let me see, hip hop chips. Hip hop chips. Migos. I totally wrote that wrong. Yeah, so it's called the Rap Snacks. Yeah, boom, Rap Snacks. Got Migos on it. I bought them. I ate this. Wait, this dude I was with was like, nah, I ain't buying them shits. Crazy, I ain't getting it. And he never gave me a reason why he was gonna. I'm like, yo, bro, they chips like all the other chips that's on this rack. You'll buy Doritos, you'll buy Utz, you'll buy all these. You might as well buy these Rap Snacks. So I mean, nah, son, I ain't gonna buy those. I'm not buying. I'm like, come on, B. And he never gave me a reason. I'm like, at that point, yo, you gonna buy those Little Debbies though? You'll buy those Little Debbies that's been on in this store on this rack for like 20 motherfucking years. But now you got these Rap Snacks, you want to eat them. If you saying it's a health thing, fine. But he gave me some bogus reason. Now I'm not gonna buy that. It was some stupidness. So I bought those chips. I ate them. They were pretty good. You know what I mean? Do I wish they had a healthy option? Sure. But we have to encourage our people to do that. Like, okay, great. That's not what. But you know what? Even if I don't eat them, a whole lot of other people gonna eat them. So let him make his bag. This dude could be selling crack. This dude could be doing something else. Let him sell the goddamn chips. Forgot the brother. I think the brother's from ATL that gets these Rap Snacks out there. So yeah, man. So I think it's important that we do support our businesses, and we can have critical we can have criticisms of the particular product or service, but not to the point where we're going to tear each other down to the next potential buyer, and then all of a sudden we're wondering why we can't have our own this and we can't have our own that. But we have to be willing to talk to the owners and ask for alternatives. And that goes for anything. That goes for even products. And it's important that, especially now, everything that's happening, it's so important that we set up some sort of an economic base based on the products or services that we have, that we're presenting to the people. And once we start generating some income, we can put that income into other more constructive areas that is going to build up the community. You know what I would really like? I would really like for someone to open up a supermarket. For some reason, I don't see any black supermarkets. And I'm just looking left and right, like, how come this hasn't even happened yet with all the wealth that's already in New York City from the black community? Like, we have to, and this perfectly ties into what I was saying with Master P and our healthier choices. We can have a supermarket that's a health food store, that kind of like a Whole Foods, or that's tied into our own farms in our community, that we could get fresh fruits and vegetables and other things that we have stuffed in our cabinets or our cupboards and our refrigerators. We got to do this. But the only way we can do that is if we support the first product that these owners and these founders have, that they're putting out to the people. That's the only way they can make that next step. So if we don't support it, all of a sudden they have to close their doors. And they never had an opportunity to take it to that next level. Like a lot of these rappers, man, if it wasn't for the rap business, a lot of these rappers wouldn't be into these ventures they're into now. The rap business put them into positions where they can have that disposable income to fund their next venture because of the music that they sold. So if you have Master P, and Master P understands that music, as we understand it now with music streaming, may not at this moment in time, not as lucrative as it once was, that now he's getting to other things because he knows he's a businessman. So it's important that we support our black founders that are getting into other things other than music. So please, other than music, other than any of the typical things that we usually do, let's have supermarkets, let's have our hardware stores, let's have, medical facilities that we can supply the best healthy, wholesome alternatives to our community. Like, we should have our hands stretched out into everything, especially with the lack of black businesses that are out there now. Let me tell you something. Here's another piece of information. The place where I live, we had a store, and this is a prime example. And we don't even understand the details of why this took place. But I have a store that it was a West Indian spot, or it was either a West Indian spot or it was a southern food spot. And I went there every now and then. I bought food there. I was like, yo, okay, cool, I'll buy it. I don't care. I bought the food there. And then all of a sudden, the doors were closed. And it's a part of the community. It's a part of the community. And there's a whole line of stores there. And I'm like, man, did they close? Oh man, that's terrible. That's messed up. And I kept the money and didn't think much of it because businesses open and close all the time, right? And then I was walking with someone I knew from the community, and he said it, and I'm surprised it did not dawn on me the same way. But he said it. He was like, look at that. The only black business on that long line of stores in a black community. What is the sad irony? In the black community, the only store that's black owned closes. Everything, all the other stores is open. And they're all non-black, by the way. I'm like, oh snap. Oh shit, what happened? I'm like, you got a good point there. In the black community, the only store that closed was the black business. Now that was sad, and it was an eye-opener for me. And it made me think of a lot of different questions. Why did this store close? Was it not getting support as it should? Was the owners mismanaging the operation? They were not pricing the food right. They weren't. Their sources where they were getting wherever they're the warehouse or wherever they get the food from, the chicken and all that. I mean, were those prices too high? Like, all these questions are coming into mind because I'm like, why is it that this black store in a black community closed down? And there's so many questions. And if I knew the owners, saw them walking by, I would step to them and be like, yo, bro, your business closed. What happened, man? Now, are they going to be honest with me? I don't know. But I just find it strange. Again, I have to say, the only store that closed was a black business, and it closed in a black neighborhood. That is seriously sad. Seriously sad. All the others one was a chain, one was a dry cleaners, a Chinese food store, a supermarket. What else? An eye shop, another chain. So other than the chains, like it was, these massive national chains, all the other stores stayed open. Corner store stayed open. What closed? The black business. Now, there are a lot of different reasons why that can happen. And even if I don't know, if I haven't spoken personally to the owners, one, it could be the lending issue. Probably he couldn't get any money to keep his doors open. Oh, he wasn't properly lended to from the financial institution he got the money from, right? Probably the interest rate was too high. I don't know. It's possibly the interest rate was through the roof and he couldn't pay that loan back along with all the other expenses on a monthly basis. He was probably having that problem. Okay. He rented it out from, probably the rent was high. Who knows? We don't know what deal it happens between one owner to the next. One owner can have his business for $2,000. This owner could have his business for $3,000. Don't know the particulars, but these are the things we think about. Was his food price too low? And then you have to look at even personal responsibility, maybe, as far as I said, with mismanagement. So there are a lot of obstacles that are put ahead of black founders, black entrepreneurs, when it comes to not just initially getting the business off the ground, but also maintaining it. And the other X factor is the race factor. As I said, even with the store, how much the owner of the real estate owner was charging him for that space. You know what I mean? We have to think about the race factor, how that play a part in the demise of his business. All these other things that I spoke about, financial institutions, money, all of that plays a part. And it's kind of like the Matrix, man, because white supremacy, systemic racism works like the Matrix. I think that's why so many black people attach themselves to the movie Matrix, because it said so much, that movie, about their lives in reality, where it's kind of like racism is all around you. Even if you do not want to acknowledge it, it's all around you. When you pay your taxes, when you throw out the garbage, you know what I mean? What Morpheus is saying, you know what I mean? Everybody know those lines. So we got to think about that constantly, how we move about the business. Now, if we can understand how racism works in front of our eyes, the obvious racism, we always have to be very keen on how racism plays itself or plays a part in our daily lives on the things that we don't see. And a lot of times we could just kind of cast that person to the side and like, well, he probably didn't do it right. But we don't know what are the circumstances. So we always have to keep our eye open on how systemic racism plays a part in the success, not even in the success, in the failure of a business. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm always so, I work with my folks, man. I work with my folks. And I think it's important that we have to change the way we see black business. And I'm not saying every black person thinks like this. For those that do, I think it's important that we set the message out there that we have to support these businesses even when they can falter in some ways. How can we pick them up to be the best business? Because we need them. We need the dry cleaner businesses. We need the supermarkets. We need the corner stores. We need the food shops and all these things. All of these things, when we spend money with them, they spend money with us, and how we can circulate that money 10, 20 times over. So we cannot be so willing to chop their heads off at a moment's notice when it sets us uneasy. Prime example, Facebook. If people have a problem with Facebook, stop complaining and get off of Facebook. Don't complain about Facebook and then you're tweeting or posting or doing whatever you with Facebook, and as if you was complaining yesterday about it, screaming out high hell. Oh, why are they doing this? Oh man, that's foul. But they still rocking with Facebook. That's why I don't listen to folk. Because I'm over here like, okay, whatever, man. Stop that belly aching. Stop that whining. You ain't going nowhere. Because if you were really about supporting black business and not being controlled by how Facebook runs its own operations through its algorithms and all those other things, it's as simple as choice. You just be like, okay, I'm going over here now. Let me just try it out. Matter of fact, let me do it simultaneously. Let me tell, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Boom, boom, boom. Oh, it's hot. Okay, I'm not too crazy. But it's all about, because I do it to this day. I'm not perfect. I'm supporting black business right now as I speak in the money that comes out of my account on a monthly basis, or where I spend my money, where I choose to spend my money. You understand what I'm saying? Because there's limited options when it comes to us as a people, how the way it's set up in this country. And I think more and more, we knew what it was about, but everything that's happening right now, we're becoming hyper aware of everything that's surrounding us right now. And because of that, we're taking the necessary steps to try to shield ourselves from it in business, socially, politically, all these things. But we have to keep that energy up. We got to keep it going. So, Bonz, this is not a knock on you, brother. This is not a knock on you. I'm just trying to make aware of some of the behavior that we can have as a people to one another. And the only way we can change that behavior is by acknowledging it and seeing what we can do to change it going forward. So, yeah, man, that's my 2 cents. All right, so we're going to go into these next couple of artists that we got going on here. Ishi. This brother Ishi is a producer from Stockholm, Sweden. It's all the way from Stockholm. So he got this song called, he has this song called Your Season featuring Kadeem King. I thought it was a hot song. There's a video out. Let me see if I could place that. That's going to be on my YouTube channel. And he's a producer. He's produced for Usher, Shakira, Neo, and a lot more artists that are out there. And he has this new song out that he just dropped with Kadeem King. And right after Ishi with Your Season, we're going to play again Nuella Charles with her song Melt. Beautiful song. I love this song. And I'm playing her again. So check this brother out, Ishi, with the song Your Season featuring Kadeem King. And then we'll end it up with Nuella Charles with Melt. And we'll be back with the last segment of the show. All right. Peace.
Hey, this is your season. I don't want to hear about the past. I want to hear about the present and the future. Don't want to hear about time. I want to hear about power. It's yours. So get it.
Spit a couple lines, I'll make niggas lose it. I be really running laps around the track. Have you look at Usain Bolt like you about to lose it? Yeah, they say I got the power. No, I'm faded, yeah, they say my finest sour. I done sprinkled the seeds all in the pot. My diamonds looking like water. Go ahead, give me my flowers. Yeah, they screaming Black Lives Matter. I be looking in the mirror like, do it really matter? Are they really about change, or is it really chatting? On my people pissed off. They been holding their bladders. Our blood, I see it splattered. It's all over the floor. That's why we in the streets. No, we ready for war. 600 a week. No, we hunger for more. That there is for the weak. I'm used to benching more. I raise the bar on these niggas. Astrology, I'm a star to these niggas. No, I'm a god, I drink from the purest fountain. Adversity, I climb the highest mountain. No verse from me, I treat it like a speech. So when it hit its peak, it's known to move mountains. Earthquake with the shake. I'm 2 seconds from greatness. I can't really wait, dang. Can't really wait, dang. The introduction.
Future, the world is ours. You heard it from me, kid. Me, that's who. The chef. Yeah. And y'all hear shit. I can't read in my crib. Coming like them never heard of it. Starting them wicked and murdering.
Listen up.
Turn up.
You're listening to GCOM Radio.
Battle of the demons, unaware of my feelings, on a quest for reason. To angels sing, it's your season. To angels sing, it's your season. Yo, hear shit. I can't read in my crib. Coming like them never heard of it. Silent, bad, and wicked and murdering.
Here's a bonus. You heard it before. Yeah. Here we go again. Serving that heat.
That tornado.
GCOM Radio.
They told us, they warned us, how could we not choose to believe? One last day leads to one last night. Through the chaos, through the fire, I'll be with you. When the mountains are crashing down and the hourglass breaks, and the world that you've known all along just can't be saved. When gravity's failing and oceans exploding, I will melt into you, you will melt into me. We will become what we long to be. When the ground turns to quicksand and the sky falls through, and the stars lose direction, they disappear on you. If gravity's failing and oceans exploding, I will melt into you, you will melt into me. We will become what we long to be.
it falls from my feet. One last touch leads to one last breath. Through the chaos, through the fire, I'll be with you. When the mountains are crashing down in the hourglass race, and the world that you've known all along just can't be saved. When gravity's failing and oceans exploding, I will melt into you, you will melt into me. We will become what we long to be. When the ground turns to quicksand and the sky falls through, and the stars lose direction, they disappear on you. If gravity's failing and oceans exploding, I will melt into you, you will melt into me. We will become what we long to be. Feel the when the mountains are crashing down in the hourglass race, and the world that you've known alone just can't be saved. When gravity's failing and oceans exploding, I will melt into you, you will melt into me. We will become what we long to be. When the ground turns to quicksand and the sky falls through, and the stars lose direction, they disappear on you. If gravity's failing and oceans exploding, I will melt into you, you will melt into me. We will become what we long to be. I will melt into you, you will melt into me. We will become what we long to be.
All right, so we return. That was Ishi, the producer from Stockholm, with his man Kadeem King for the song Your Season. And I think I got that video. I think if you check out my YouTube channel, you'll be able to see the video from there. But if not, yeah, it's still a dope song for you to hear. And right behind Ishi, the producer of Kadeem King for that song, was Nuella Charles. Thank God for her return with her song Melt. I love that song, and I'm looking forward to hearing more of Noella's music. Where you at, Noella? So yeah. So anyway, so before we continue, I don't even have a topic for this third segment, but I'm going to get into something. Let's see what I can get into. But before we do, you know what we got to do? The news you need to know. All right, what we got?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Bringing you the business of the week and its innovative founders is what you've been waiting for.
Caleb Anderson, a 12-year-old, starts his second year in college. He's majoring in aerospace engineering at Chattahoochee Technical College in Georgia. At 9 months, he was writing more than 250 words. He speaks not just English, but also Spanish, French, and Mandarin. Caleb's parents found out about his gifts at a young age when they started engaging other parents. It was at this point they realized their kid was exceptionally gifted. Caleb has 2 other younger siblings, and it seems that they have the same gifts as he does. Caleb is set to graduate from college at 14 years old. He's planning to continue his studies at Georgia Tech and MIT. Congrats to the parents and Caleb as well. Fantastic. United Kingdom's new fighting drone. The UK has developed a new fighting mini drone to help soldiers in the heat of battle. It was developed by the British Armed Forces as a breaching weapon. The hexacopter, meaning equipped with 6 pairs of rotating blades, it would fly in, identify enemy targets, and neutralize them with the onboard weapon, such as a shotgun or a rapid-fire rifle. In a typical breaching operation, soldiers would have to combat enemy fighters upon entry into the building structure. Unfortunately, heavy casualties and injuries are expected in these scenarios. With this drone, the soldiers would break down the door, send in the drone, seek out potential enemy targets, and engage the drone to fire at will. The drones can also act as a kamikaze object, knocking out other enemy drones. Miniature combat drones like the I-9 will also be available to U.S. militaries eventually. And that is the news you need to know. All right, we're gonna give this last segment. This is just like a freestyle off the top because I didn't have a topic for the show set up, and it's something that I wanted to talk about after I was just thinking for a little bit. I had a conversation with a guy earlier before, and he was basically talking about just what's important in life. And, he was, what our teenagers get into and as parents and what is this, what we call, and I always said that before, as far as in living in this country, one of these common statements that I hear all the time when somebody does something really stupid and you check them on it, they say, well, I'm American. This is a free country. I do what I want. Do what you want. Okay. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should. And this is one of the issues that we have living in this country. That we just do whatever we want. Because we're just living. I mean, we have raised ourselves to be like overgrown children. And as parents and as adults, we tell children all the time when they're going about their own lives in their own world, we check them on the behavior that they do, but we don't check ourselves as we become young adults. And, I'm talking about not even young adults in their 20s. We have people that's in their 30s and their 40s and 50s just doing some wild, crazy shit. And like, yo, dude, what's your problem? And it's always the response, this is a free country. I do what I want. No, you can't do what you want. You can't. And I think that comes from the individualism that we live by living in this society. And this sense of individualism, and this is what I'm getting at, the sense of individualism, and you pair it with fame, can be a toxic combination. Now, how can that be a toxic combination? We do a lot of things just overboard. I don't know if fame is I don't know if fame is healthy. Because there's a lot of famous people, man. There's actors, there's what do you call it? Public figures. And they've all seemed to kind of have the same traits after they become famous. Like whether you're George Clooney or you're Brad Pitt or, and it's not all of them. And I'm talking about levels of fame. I'm not talking about attitude with these guys that I just mentioned. But there's a lot of these traits or these particular behaviors that are common once you reach a certain level of fame. I don't think that's particularly healthy. Just to be known. Just you can't go anywhere. You can't go to the supermarket. You can't go to just have a simple hot dog with your friend. It's like these things that we cherish or took for granted rather before fame came on, and all of a sudden we can't do these things. And you couple that with this individualism, there's some real wild spirits, and they go off the deep end, and next thing you know, they end up accidentally killing themselves, like so many famous people. So I'm wondering if left unchecked, can fame be toxic to the individual, to the person? It's not what it's cracked up to be. You think you have money and fame and you have all this attention in the world. You think that nobody would ask for anything. I mean, this is a gift, right? No, because there's so many people that have killed themselves, and you would think they had everything they want. They have money, they have, women, they have men, they have this adulation, they have, anywhere they go, they can have it. And then all of a sudden, you hear a story where they OD Whitney Houston. or they commit suicide. Kurt Cobain, Robin Williams, and that came out of left field. Robin Williams, this dude killed himself. You think he was the happiest person in the world being a comedian, but he suffered internally. He was a tortured man, and he hid it behind a smile. And does that have to do with fame or his own issues that he had even before he was a famous comedian? And sometimes that could be the case. Sometimes you could be a person with problems before fame, and then once you get it, it only exponentializes the issue. But I think fame, if you don't really put it in check, can eat you from the inside out. I had a situation before. I'm not saying I was terribly famous before when I was younger. I had a TV show in Brooklyn Cable Access Television. And I tell this story to people every now and then. And it was ill because I was at one point I was thinking, man, I think I did talk about this on the show before, but not this particular. This other situation where I was on the train, and you'll never get used to it. Because I was always wondering that if people were watching the show, and then it started to happen where I started to notice that people were noticing me. And I was on a train once, and I'm noticing it, and at that point, I was just not paying attention to it. I was like, oh man, whatever, right? But then I'm standing in the train, and this lady is standing in front of me as I'm noticing people are noticing me. And then this lady was like, she said, excuse me, sir. And I'm like, yeah, how you doing, ma'am? And she's like, your boot is untied. I'm wearing Tim's, of course. I'm like, oh, thank you. I appreciate it. She said, I can tie it for you. Whoa. That shit freaked me the fuck out. I was like, what? Say what? I pretended like I didn't hear the first time, and I asked her again. She's like, I can tie. I was like, no, that's cool. That's fine. I'm okay with it. And that spooked me so much. I got off my train. I didn't even get off I was supposed to get off the last train stop. I think I was like at the fourth or fifth end to the last stop, and I got off the train, man. That freaked me out. I went upstairs. I think it was Church Avenue. I went upstairs and I waited for the bus to go home. And even when I got on the bus, people were noticing me. So I was like, man, this is crazy. I'm not going to front. I got spooked. And then that was at that point, I was making a decision to do something else. I'm like, all right, I did the show for a little bit. I think I was doing the show for like 8 months or something like that. A year. It wasn't even that long. And that kind of freaked me out. I didn't know how to handle it, man. And even in that little world that I lived in at that time, man, I was like probably 21, 22, 23, something like that, early 20s. Even that little bubble I was in, what I experienced, I was like, yo, that threw me off my square. Now, can you imagine being like Prince or Michael Jackson or what's that singer name? I want to talk about people when they're alive. What's her name? I don't even know movie. She was in that movie. Let me see if I remember. I remember her song though. Lady Gaga. Boom. The Shallow song. Yeah, that's a dope song, by the way. Lady Gaga. Anyway, Lady Gaga. Yo, imagine being Lady Gaga and you can't even go certain places, man. That is wild, man. Now, I got freaked out in that little bubble I was in at the time. Now, imagine if you have fame where no matter where you go, you just can't go anywhere. You got to literally wear that, the shades and the hat, even though, like, I'm like, what? Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah, that's you, bro. I know that's you. Take off the Yankee cap and them shades. Stop playing around like we don't know who you are. But they got to go around town wearing shades and a hat. It's not that crazy, man. It's not that fun. Now I'm cool with it. I think I'm a lot older. I'm more mature. I can deal with certain things if need be. And that's a little bit reason why that I don't throw my face up on it, on YouTube and things. Because I'm like, because I've been there. Not to say that I want to do it. If when it comes around and the opportunity is right, and I have everything around me, and I get the office, and I have the cameras, so we can throw it on there, then I wouldn't mind. I'll do what I got to do. It is what it is. I fully embraced this. What comes with the business. This is what comes with doing what I do. But it's not like something I seek out. Because I tell you, I'd rather have money and not be famous than be famous and broke. What's the point of everybody knowing your face and you don't know where you're going to come up with your next meal? So I think is there a way to separate fame and money? Is it possible? And I'm sure you can if you're an executive but even being known is kind of working its way into the executive offices. If you're in like movies or something, like somebody wants to know the producer, somebody wants to know the director. The director is as famous as the actor. So can you have a healthy way of living, man? I don't know if you can. You got to be real mature. Like, I think one person that's really dealt with their fame really well was Keanu Reeves. That dude is a low-key brother, man. I would love to just chill with this dude and over beer. Keanu Reeves, I remember that one piece of footage that he was on a train and he was just chilling, holding, and everybody knew he was Keanu, but he was I guess he just wanted a piece of normalcy. Like, let me get on a train. I haven't been on a train in probably like 10, 15 years. I'm just going to hop on this train right quick. And yeah, he was on a train. Everybody was noticing him and he was acting like he wasn't getting noticed, but he was getting noticed. And but to me, he's kind of grown into his career, man, into who he is as Keanu Reeves. Like, he doesn't mind, but a lot of people can't handle that. There was another actress, her name, she was a wild party animal. She cracked from fame. And a lot of people that I know can crack from fame. It affects them different ways. Like, I used to go to clubs back in the day a whole lot. And there was one woman, oh my God, it went straight to her head. What was that one? She was in the Friday movie. When I was going to the clubs hard, and I was in the club with her, and I saw her. I was like, oh snap, that's such and such. And I said, what's up? Let me put Friday cast. And her attitude, like some of this fame could go straight to people's heads, and they just don't know how to act. I'm telling you. Her name was Paula Jai Walker. Oh my God. Paula Jai Walker, she was just acting brand new in the spot, and we was all chilling. And then when she gave me that attitude, I was like, I'm a movie star. What are you doing talking to me? I was like, yo, B, for real? You could tell her right away. Oh man, I tell you, that toxic. And toxic doesn't always have to be, toxic as far as taking drugs and you got issues. Toxic could just be your energy, your attitude. And I've had a lot of other run-ins with people over the years that just had bad attitudes. I'm not going to mention their names because I don't feel like, because I probably might bump into them again, and then all of a sudden somebody's going to pop this show out of nowhere and be like, he's talking crazy about you. But I had a lot of people that I looked up to. They I thought I was going to be like, I thought they was going to be cool, and they wasn't cool. And I'm like, damn, man, I listened to your music, man. You had this crazy attitude. I mean, I bumped into the people that I did. Let me just say the people that I did bump into that was cool, and I really dug what they was about. Biggie, I bumped into Biggie. He was a cool dude in Brooklyn. His attitude was, hey, what's up, young blood? And, he gave me props. I was like, yo, I love the music. He said, no doubt. That's one time I met Biggie. Jay was cool. I met Jay a couple times. Let me say met, but bumped into Jay. I bumped into Jay downtown Manhattan when I was doing my club thing at the time, hanging out stuff. And he was like, cool. And I bumped into him at another club. And I was like, yo, what up, Jay? What's good? And, he was a cool dude. He was just very regular. He didn't give me any attitude in that instance that we, bumped a fist and kept it moving. So there was twice where I had good run-ins with Jay. Who else I bumped into? This one I had a conversation. I met Prince. Prince was cool as shit, man. Prince was a short motherfucker. I went to one of Prince's shows downtown Manhattan. I think it was at not CBGB's. I forgot the name of the spot. It's on Varick, I think. It was by the Hot 97 Studios. Oh man, I can't remember. I don't even think it was there, but it was in a club, and he was releasing one of his records. And I forgot how I got this invite, but I got the invite, and I went there, and it was a cool spot. It was nice. It was kind of like churchy, kind of that, the windows, everything. It was real nice. The spot was nice. You know what I mean? It was like real. Of course, it's dim at night. It was a New York club. And then out of nowhere, this guy comes up to me. I was talking with somebody. He's like, "Hey, you want to meet somebody?" I'm like, "Yeah, cool. Yeah, of course." And that somebody was Prince. I was like, "Yo, hey, what's up, man? What's going on?" And this dude had high heels on. He had 4-inch pumps, and he was still mad short. He was shorter than me. So he's rapping a little bit. He's like, "Yo, so how you doing?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm digging the vibe, everything like that." He's like, check out the record. Yeah, so I'm gonna check out the record. You're Prince, of course. And we chatted for like another 2 or 3 minutes when people was around. And then I was like, "Man, I really like your stuff, and I'm definitely gonna check it out, man. And I mean, I'm here just to enjoy myself." And he's like, "Cool, man, enjoy yourself." And that was it, man. And Prince was real cool, man. I wish there was an opportunity to rap with that guy a little bit more, man. Who knew, these moments. And there was some other people that I met too, man. It was crazy. So I kind of bumped into, let me say, what's the name? Oh my God, I can't. Rosario Dawson. I bumped into Rosario Dawson. It was crazy. So my man told me at the club, he was like, when I was rocking, he was like, "Yo, man, I'm doing this party over here, and you should come through." Guess who come through? So he already knew I had a thing for Rosario. So then I said, "Who coming through?" He said, "Yo, Rosario Dawson." I'm like, "Say word." Yo, I'm there. I'm there. Yo, you ain't got to tell me twice, player. So I go to the spot. I forgot where this joint was at. Of course, Lower Manhattan always. So there was this long line. I was like, "Fuck that. I don't do no lines." That was at the time. So I go in the front of the line, and it was like, "Okay, you Nova, what up? What up? Okay, cool. Come in." So I go in the spot, and it was like a 2-level spot. So I'm like, "Oh, this spot is cool. All right, cool. All right, that's what's up." You know what I mean? So I'm enjoying myself. Got some drinks. So I go, I go up, up and down the first floor. It's cool. Everybody talking, everybody jamming the music. And then I go up to the second floor. So I'm like, it's just kind of like this another room, right? And it had a balcony. Of course, it had more tables by the balcony, and it overlooked the first floor, the ground floor. So it was nice. So I'm vibing, and I'm like, I don't even see Rosario. I'm there for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. I'm like, "Yo, what the fuck?" My man says she's coming through. So I'm like, fuck it, she not showing up, whatever. So I sit down, and I sit myself down in between these two ladies. So I'm like, "What's up?" I'm like, "Yo, I'm just gonna spend my time vibing, whatever, man. Make the most of the night." So I'm vibing with these two ladies. They're left, and one's left, one's right. And I'm like, "Yeah, how you doing?" I'm rapping to them, getting to know them, and we all enjoying ourselves, small talk shit. So then we vibing, we kicking it, and I'm really enjoying myself. And lo and behold, who walks into the spot? Rosario Dawson with her homegirls. And I'm like, what? So automatically, like, whoever was talking to me on the left and right side, just like, it turned into like, because I'm zoned. I'm like, yo, crazy. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, right? Charlie Brown's teacher, right? So then I'm like, oh shit, that's Rosario. All right, cool, bet. All right, I'm just gonna play cool, like nothing. And I'm just gonna, and all the while these two ladies is talking to me. So all of a sudden she moving over, she dancing, whatever like that. So I'm like, fuck, how am I gonna get myself out from these two women so I could go do my thing? So I'm like, all right, cool. How should I do this? All right, I'm gonna go downstairs and get some drinks. So I was like, hey, you want a drink? You want a drink? Not a problem, it's on me. So I excused myself, go downstairs, get whatever drinks that they wanted. And then I came back and gave them the two drinks. Here you go. I excused myself. All right. I'm like, all right. I lost sight of Rosario, whatever, right? So I'm like, dang, where's she at? So I was just trying to remove myself and just be about my business. All right, here, I'm just bounced. So I didn't see her anymore. So I'm like, what the fuck? Damn. All right. So I sat back down. So I'm talking with them like 2 more minutes, going back and forth with the both of them. So then, again, out of nowhere, like magic, Rosario is sitting next to the girl on my left. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? What? So I'm like, oh no, how do I get out of this situation? So then, me playing myself, thinking I was big dog, like I knew what I was doing, trying to play myself, and I did in more ways than one. So, I'm trying to think of a scheme. I said, how can I get Rosario's attention? These girls is in my ear. So, I play that corny ass, stretch in the movie theater deal when you try to get your arms around a girl. But I'm like, and I stretch, put my arms out. And then I put my arm kind of over the girl on the left and I tap Rosario's shoulder. So Rosario looks over. She's like, hey, like, oh, hey, all right. Hey. So then I was like, I don't know what happened after that. I don't know how. So I started rapping to Rosario and stuff like that with the girl between me. And I guess the two girls kind of like got the cue. They got up and somehow they left, right? So I just slid myself right over. And I just started, talking, small talk, kicking it with Rosario. And I was like, listen, this music is loud. Why don't we just sit in this small table over here by the balcony? So we go over to the balcony. So we're talking, continuing to talk, blah, 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 making things happen. And then this is where I fucked up. See, I was stupid, right? Young and dumb. So, of course, she says that it comes to the point where she's like, oh, do you know any of my movies? And I'm like, in that split second, I was like, should I say yes or should I say no? If I say yes, it may make it seem like I'm desperate. But if I say no, I can play it cool. I'm like, I don't know much of your stuff. Try to be like, treat it as a regular. So I said no. Wasn't a good answer. Her face turned like, motherfucker, whatever. Movies. I was like, I'm saying. So that was like, it continued and we was talking a little bit more, but the energy shifted from there. Like, I played myself. I should have just said, in hindsight, I should have just been like, yay, man, I know your movies. I love your movies. It's cool. I like this particular one, blah, 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 blah. I didn't go that route. Maybe it could have been different if I did say that. But anyway, so after like a half hour, 40 minutes chilling and talking, she was like, well, I got to go now. I'm going to another spot with my friends. And so I was like, hey, man, why don't we just exchange numbers and, we could link up or whatever. She's like, that's okay. Maybe, she said, I tell you what, if we bump into each other at another club here in New York, I'll definitely give you my number. And I was like, and I had to eat that one. So she got up, we said bye. And that was my Rosario Dawson story, man. Haven't seen her since. That is crazy. Another cool person. Very cool, I might add. But yeah, I played myself. I played myself lovely, man, looking back on it. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But yeah, there was a lot of cool people, man, that I've met over the years. And there are those that fame has just went to their head and made them bad people, man. Made them terrible people. And it is what it is. You just have to figure out how you navigate through fame and all these things. that come to you when you're in the business and when there's cameras thrown in your face and stuff like that. And I think you gotta, I don't know if there's any, maybe there should be some kind of a therapist that you could go see and sit down, so you can kind of figure out how you kind of deal with this new fame or this old fame. And maybe that's what people talk about, especially, Charlamagne on the Breakfast Club. But there's got to be a way to kind of decompress and get away and just talk about your issues that you can't really talk about with other people because they see you as that person. And sometimes you can't even see your family because they see you as, oh, that's my little son or my little brother. All of a sudden he's this person, and you have to deal with a lot of all that pent up issues over the years. And then you top that off with your success. Sometimes that doesn't work out. So you have to seek someone out that sees you as a person and wants to get to know you and help you in whatever issues that you want to bring to the table. But yeah, man, fame can either, it could be the bane of your existence, or you can just accept it as such and live with it. And there's a lot of people that fail, man. There's a lot of people that fail at that. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks, guys, for listening to me. I appreciate you listening to the show, and shout out to all the artists that submitted their music on the show. So that's Jax the Band, that's Day, that's Ishi with his man at Kadeem King, and Nuella Charles with her song Melt. Where's she at? Yeah, and please go to Lyfeblood.com, sign up, be a lifer. Whatever passion that you have, here's an opportunity for you to build on it and build your network, and just ask for $1 in order for you to help live your dream. And if you got 15,000 people in your network, that's 15,000 people, or excuse me, dollars that you can get on a monthly basis in order for you to live your dream. So it's about I'm tongue twisting right now. It's about group economics. It's about creating that. It's about setting up a base, a reliable base where we can get money in order for us to live, in order for us to do our thing, because the traditional ways are not working from these financial institutions. And we don't always want to borrow. I think in order for us to close the wealth gap, in order for us to have more founders within our community, I think it's important that we seek out help from our own people in our community. People even that we don't know, because I think that's the only way we're going to make out of the situation that we're in now, because we can't keep on banging on the same door, complain, and then bang on the same door, or bang on a different door, and it's the same type of attitude that we're dealing with the first door. That's why we have Lyfeblood.com and creating that group economics platform, so we can start figuring out our issues. And one of those key things is financial access. All right, thank you guys for listening to the show. I'm getting out of here. I might not be here the following week. I am moving, so if I can get in the show, I will get in the show. But if not, please hold out until the following week. And even if I don't have an official show, I'll just try to have like a short meantime in between time, like 30 minutes or something, like talking about whatever is happening for the week, so I could give you some sort of content. So thank you for listening. I'm out of here. Appreciate it. See you on the next go round. All right, peace.
Check it.
You just listened to GCOM Radio, powered by Lyfeblood.com for the global community.
We worldwide, baby.
See you in the next go round. From right here to your town, we out.